8, solve by factoring. When it says solve and it's quadratic or more, you need to set it equal to 0. We're trying to find out values for x. That's what solve means. So it says by factoring. So we need to set everything equal to 0. So I'm going to put everything on the left side, and then I can set it equal to 0. And I'm going to put it in order as I do this. So x cubed minus 3x squared minus 28x equals 0. The directions are by factoring. So I look and I say, oh, there's an x in all of these. I should take that out first. So we take that out. X squared minus 3x minus 28. Now we factor. We put the x there. What times what gives us x squared? What times what gives me 28? When I subtract them, I get negative 3. Well, that would be 7 and 4 minus and plus, because that would be 4x and minus 7x gives us minus 3x equals 0. We have 3 factors. When the highest exponent is a 3, we should have 3 answers. When the highest exponent is a 2, we have 2 answers. So we should have 3 answers to this. We're going to set each of these factors equal to 0. So we get x equals 0, x minus 7 equals 0, and x plus 4 equals 0. Because if any of these are equal to 0, because they're multiplied together, it's going to be equal to 0. So we get x equals 0, x equals 7, and x equals minus 4. And those are the 3 solutions to this problem. Next one, solve. Again, we're trying to get x. We're trying to figure out what will work for x. So when it's a radical, we're going to isolate the radical. So we're going to get the square root of x minus 2 equals 1. I just subtracted 2 from both sides. Now to free what's under the radical, we're going to square both sides. This is not doing the square root, so we don't need plus or minus. We're just squaring it. There's a 2 here and 2 here. They kind of cancel each other, so we get x minus 2 equals 1, and we get x equals 3. That one's actually really easy. Next one, find a, and I don't mean just there it is, but get it by itself, solve for a. This one, we need to find a common denominator, multiply everything by the common denominator. Common denominator is PD. So I'm going to take every term times PD, and that will eliminate our fraction. So the p's will cross out, so I'm going to get dx minus dA. I have to take PD times c, so it's CPD. The d's are going to cross out, so I get PK. Now you notice there's only an a in one of the terms, right here. So I'm going to get this term by itself, and then just divide by the d, and we'll have our answer. So we're going to get minus dA equals PK. The order doesn't matter here. Minus dx, oops, it's not dx, minus dx plus CPD, and then we're going to divide both sides by a negative d. I don't think anyone else did it this way. And so we get A equals, this negative sign shouldn't be on the bottom, so I'm going to just move it to the top. So I'm going to get minus PK plus dx minus CPD over d. I wouldn't have marked it wrong if you did this, but that's not the way it should go. Or we could have just moved this to this side and this to that side. But this should be your final answer. Okay, number 11. Our imaginary friends. You can't have a negative number under a radical. That's the problem with this one. So we need to take it out. So we're going to have negative 2. These are multiplied together. Times the square root of 9i. Remember, I squared is equal to negative 1. So we're going to get 3 times negative 1. Plus, you can't simplify 2i, and you can't simplify 2. Now we have the square root of 9 is 3. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6i. Minus 3 plus 2i minus 2. And this should be, I think I copied the problem wrong when I started this one. Let me just check. Oops, this should have been a negative. When I started, I copied it wrong. So this should be a positive. Now we're going to put our real part first. So we're going to have 1, that's our real part, minus 4i. This is the correct form. It should be the form a plus bi, where this is real and this is imaginary. I didn't take off any this time if you didn't put it in the right way, but next time if you don't have it in this right form, it'll be a point off. Okay, last one on this board is dividing. I already put it in the right form. Most of you added your 0x and 0x squareds. So let's just start dividing. X goes into 3x cubed, 3x squared times. So we get 3x cubed. And then we take this times this plus 3x squared. Change your signs and add, so we get negative 3x squared. And bring down your next term. Most of you got this right except for the remainder. So then we need a negative 3x, because you want to get exactly this one. So negative 3x times x is negative 3x squared. Negative 3x times 1 is negative 3x. You just have to be really careful in this. Change your signs and add. Again, what times x gives me 3x? That would be 3. So I get, and I bring down my negative 2. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 1 is 3, and it's positive. Change our signs and add. And we get negative 5. And we put it negative 5 over our divisor, which is x plus 1.